Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Strategic Command World War II, World at War. It is June of 1946. Germany is on the verge of taking London. They've moved adjacent to the hex of London. And they are also in the process, the Japanese are in the process of attacking Australia after successfully invading and taking over India and China on the Japanese part, and the Germans taking Russia. There isn't much that stands between the Axis powers and total victory. Additionally, the Germans are on the verge of taking Kenya and also British Somaliland in Africa, while retaking the entire North African coast. The situation is a good one for the German forces as they pour troops in to the British Isles in an effort to overwhelm and destroy the Allied powers, but it remains to be seen just how massively the Axis will win. They still have to take London, they still have to take Australia if they want a completely decisive victory, per my understanding of the way the game works. That being said, we've already done our turn for everybody with the exception of Argentina, which is operating here in the South American theater. And in that chord, we're going to go ahead and we're going to declare war on Bolivia and add them to the Allied powers in an effort to allow our Argentinian, I did just declare war on them, right? Forces to, play a role, because right now they've already beat Brazil, they've already beat Chile. There's not really anything else they can do at the moment, so we'll declare war on Bolivia. Additionally, I think we're going to also go ahead and declare war on Uruguay, because again, we have Argentine forces down there that aren't doing anything. So we'll go ahead and declare war on Uruguay. And we'll move these guys here, we'll make contact with them, take Montevideo, and well, it doesn't look like we can take the capital itself, but it looks like Uruguay and Bolivia should both fall to us next turn once we're able to move our troops again. We also moved troops from Buenos Aires from Santiago to Buenos Aires in order to ensure that the Allies can't sucker punch us and take our capital unopposed as we move on Uruguay. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into our turn. I also spent a bunch of money on new aircraft, which are probably going to take the better part of the rest of the game to arrive, but we'll see how that all plays out. Alright, so partisan activity all over China, India, various different places, that's to be expected. Our naval forces off the coast of Australia doing some raiding of New Zealand and Australian forces. Ground attack weapon development just shot forward to level 3, so that should allow us to build better tactical air units. Advanced tanks for Japan jumped to 87%, so a good R&D turn there for the Axis powers. Japan really doesn't have great tanks, so if we can upgrade their quality and bring them to level 3 tanks, then that'll be all the more useful for us as we try and drive on the Australian capital with our one armored unit for Japan. Meanwhile, the Americans are bringing in substantial reinforcements here in amphibious vehicles. I don't know why they're using amphibious vehicles, but they are. And they're bringing them to the British Isles, I'm assuming. It'll be interesting to see if they land on the southwest tip of England. That would be dumb, because they'd have no naval supply. But it's happened before. I've done it. So if the AI did decide to do it, it wouldn't be that crazy from like a realism perspective, I don't think. Meanwhile, the American Navy still has a destroyer and some submarines here off the coast of Japan. We saw there was a battle with a heavy cruiser off the coast of Australia. That definitely went our way. We inflicted 6 for a loss of 2. So that's a good result. And the AI is thinking, what does it want to do? I think we have quite a few ground units coming up ready to be deployed in the next turn or two for both Japan and Germany. Some specialty units there as well. So I think if we do get them, what we'll do is for Japan, we'll deploy them to the home islands and then start moving them into transport so we can race them to Australia to hopefully defeat the Australians before the war ends. As a reminder, the war ends in the spring of 1947, so we probably have about 11 or 12 turns left in the game, maybe less. And that's just something to be mindful of. Meanwhile, Allied TAC Air is trying to reduce our strength, even in British Somaliland. They're doing some damage to our mechanized forces. Mechanized forces there in England as well, getting hit pretty hard by enemy air units. All of these units pretty much already upgraded to level 5. Some of our units actually aren't, which is interesting because we do have level 5 tanks, but the units we have deployed in England, I guess I never really upgraded. Meanwhile, this Japanese army loses quite a few casualties. It's on the verge of being wiped out. You can see British paratroopers and American infantry attacking at Cardiff and failing. Japanese army here on the island of Ceylon. Not Ceylon, I know it's not pronounced that. Ceylon? Sri Lanka? Is that the better? That is the island of Sri Lanka, right? Are succeeding there. Meanwhile, why are they moving into the channel? American reinforcements there landed in sort of the Midlands. Is that the Midlands? I guess it's Wales, not the Midlands. And this turn should be coming to a close, I think, as we move into July of 1946. British pulling some of their airborne units off the front line. That's smart. Airborne as an aircraft, so they're not easily destroyed. Some troops moving into sort of an exposed area of our flank in Africa. It's a bit of a longer turn than I was expecting from the AI. We'll have to see how this plays out. Trying to have a two-pronged advance on the Australian capital as well, with our troops in central Australia also. Meanwhile, Allied units are suffering some attrition here. More partisan activity in India. More partisan activity in China. Guys, why don't you stop fighting us? We've already won. Just stop causing problems. Alright, so that ends the turn. Calculating supply and moving forward to our deployment phase. If we get any reinforcements. Intelligence about British troops on Crete. Troops in Mexico City. What a shocker. Yep, alright, so we get a bunch of new troops here. I think we'll probably deploy them all in major cities so we can get them on transports as quick as we can. Looks like we have some special forces units too. Wow, that's quite a few troops. Motor torpedo boat. Pioneer infantry. Okay. Meanwhile, Japan also has a whole bunch of troops coming online. Gotta get them into transports and headed down to Australia. ASAP. American destroyers just kind of hanging out there off the coast of Japan. It's like, we're just here. Don't mind us. You can destroy us, though. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and move them. I'm not going to bother with the American with the American submarines. They have a lot of them. And our submarine technology, anti-submarine technology, is woefully behind theirs. Okay. Problem is I want to move some of these guys to ports so they can repair. But if I do that, that prevents me from potentially being able to call on those guys to form transports. Move these guys back. Want that mechanized unit forward. Alright, so Japan is all situated for now. Can't use these bombers because northern Australia is currently suffering heavy rainstorms. This headquarter unit south. Try and keep them up. Looks like there's an Australian Special Forces unit over here. Okay, reinforce these guys. Alright, so driving into the interior of Australia continues. Meanwhile, these guys badly need reinforcements, so they get back up to full strength. Bad weather all around. Our heavy cruiser will finish theirs off. Our carriers will move back to port. Battleships also. focusing in on our salient in and around Sydney. Be great to attack their TAC air, but I don't think I'm ready to do that yet. Not in this weather. Let's also do this. I don't want to bother with the short-range amphibious craft. Let's go ahead and throw some of these guys on long-range transports, and maybe we can aid in the taking of Australia. Okay. Alright, so we'll do that. Meanwhile, this armor here will finish off Kenya by taking Nairobi. These guys are just going to race down and take Mogadishu. Paratroopers moving up. Syrian army will move into Addis Ababa, or however you pronounce that. Capital of Ethiopia. Alright, that looks good. With the fall of Mogadishu, can we move this transport unit there? We can. Can we land anything? Not quite. Let's go ahead and move these guys into transports as well. They're also going to go for Mogadishu. We'll see if we can unland them next turn. Be great if we could as we move these troops back into German-held territory in Iran. Okay. So that's that there. Reinforce these guys. Everything that is reinforced or can be reinforced has been. Honestly, let's just move this to Australia. We can go ahead and operate these fighter aircraft in good weather in Central Australia. Move the maritime bombers to Port Moresby so they don't just quickly and easily conquer us there. Move the fighters into Australia. And there you go. Strengthening our fist there. I think that's going to about do it for these troops. Okay, so that's going to do it for Japan. Meanwhile, North Africa, we're going to go ahead and take what's left. Final cities in North Africa. The Allied forces are deep in the hinterland. They're going to die from exposure or lack of supply, so we'll just kind of leave our own troops here. We won't march after them into the interior. Africa's already taken care of, so now it's back to England. What are we going to do here? Well, this guy needs to reinforce, that's for sure. Let's move this Panther forward. Alright, let's try and take out these paratroopers. Good. It's a good result there. Meanwhile, he can attack here. Alright, so can our bombers knock England down a peg just by themselves? They're currently dug in at level 6. So let's just try and pound these guys into dust. We're going to lose some aircraft from the enemy fighters, but at the end of the day, the key is just breaking down their entrenchments, and tactical air or medium bombers can do that. We'll take some casualties, of course, but we're also inflicting some casualties there. You can see 3 fighters for 1 German bomber there, and the enemy is down to level 4 fortifications. We have to bomb them 4 more times to get them down to 0. But we can manage that. We've got enough bombers to do it. We're going to take some casualties. We'll have to be okay with that. And just launch those rockets at Maidstone. So we'll kind of keep chewing through the enemy fighters here, inflicting some casualties. 2-1 there with the bomber 1, 2 more to the attackers there. So 4-2 in terms of air casualties there. Entrenchments down to 1 now. Entrenchments down to 0 now. So the entrenchments are gone, and now our bombers can actually start having an impact on the units themselves. And we'll see if maybe what we have left can finish them off. If not, it's going to get them pretty darn close. No. So we couldn't finish them off, but our 4th Army can, as they attack and destroy the enemy. Meanwhile, our Panthers can advance forward and take London proper, destroy the British unit at Maidstone, and then destroy the American headquarters unit south of Cambridge. And then I think we can advance just south of Cambridge. That's a very good result for us. Our amphibious craft here, the 3rd Panzers, can land at Maidstone, advance here into London, then inflict some casualties on the American defenders there just to the west of London. Okay, move these guys to Maidstone. These guys over here. I think I used all my bombers. We can try hitting them there. Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to be very effective. Trying to finish those guys off. Move our mechs up toward Reading. Okay. There we go. Artillery finished off the defenders of Reading. And... alright, what's over here? This is the 15th German Army. We can bring them... we can't land them? What if we move these back to Reading? Can we land them into Cardiff? No! No! We're just going to give Cardiff right back to the enemy. Because apparently these troops can't unload, which means we have to pull them back. That's silly. Can they land if I bring them into Portsmouth? Yeah, they can. That's interesting. Okay. Pull him back that away. I guess we can move them back. Can anybody else move here? I guess I'd rather have armor in Cardiff. Leave Reading to them if they want to counterattack there. London has fallen at least. Meanwhile, I think what we're going to do is we're going to start bringing some fighter aircraft across the channel. The strong ones, anyway. To ensure better fighter cover for our troops. Alright. Why is this guy moving through the channel like that? Is he trying to die? Motor torpedo boats finish off the American transports. Alright, so these guys need to come back to port to refit. 3 damage there, 6 damage there, 3 damage here. Shit! Enemy contact! God damn it. American cruiser getting in the way. There we go. Okay. Alright, so London fell. We destroyed a few other units. Capital should move to Manchester next turn. We'll see how that plays out. Reinforce these troops. I'll reinforce all the fighters I can. Get them back up to full strength. Okay. Alright, so England is chock full of troops. Can't really fit much more in there. North Africa's done. Central America. Paza Falls. So that should finish off the enemy in Bolivia. Meanwhile, Montevideo falls, so Uruguay should surrender. These guys are going to move south toward Ashan to take Paraguay. And then the Central American countries, or the South American countries, sorry, will be gone with the exception of Venezuela, Colombia, Dutch Guiana, and Ecuador. We've already dealt with the Japanese in Australia. And so I think this makes for a nice, quick conclusion to this episode. A little bit of a shorter turn. I know a lot of times I do 30 minutes, but I don't think I've got enough time to do a whole second episode. I guess one thing we can do, let's go ahead and spend some money. Germany's total research availability is 150. Oh, that's Japan. So we've actually got a bit that we can spend. I guess we'll just spend it on heavy bombers. I am building some of those. Maybe we'll get to Heavy Bombers 1 or something. Purchases, we've got 1,200 left is Germany. What do we want to do with it? Italian East Africa, we can raise a garrison there. Huh, interesting. Finland, I guess. We could raise some troops in Finland to deal with the British in Norway that we can't seem to do anything about. Alright, so that spent all our money, or most of it. And I think that'll do it for this turn. So nothing going in Norway yet. I mean, I can continue attacking, but not going to really accomplish much. Just going to take casualties. I need a headquarter unit up near Tromsø. And I'll get that. We're building one, but I don't have any spare right now. So, yeah. Meanwhile, we've got these secondary troops that are kind of guarding France. So we'll have to see how that works out. But, yeah, that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. And we'll catch you guys back up next time as we move into August of 1946 and we get the official surrenders of various units. Actually, fun story behind this save. Not so fun. I had already recorded the next 2 episodes, but I recorded it in the wrong resolution, so I had to go back and re-record. Fun. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it. Until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.